days are gone.
Welcome to Making a Difference Wednesday here on the Mad Radio Show. You are listening. There we go. You are listening to John and Sam. Man, bringing the first responders' mental health to the forefront during this COVID epidemic. Man, we are proud to be here. We are broadcasting live from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios here in Arlington, Texas, in the heart of the entertainment district in Globe Life Park. I think I just repeated myself. That's where my mind is going after 3 hours of radio. But welcome, Sam. Thank you for coming in today.
It is great to be here.
You know, we had a great conversation on our mental health Zoom call, on Monday with Rochelle Lockett? Rochelle Lockett. Yeah, I think it was
from California.
Yes. And you know, she brought up a lot of good things that a lot of interesting points when we discussed the mental health of our first responders. As she is married to a firefighter who is going through a lot of mental stress with the tour changes, the shift changes, the long hours, then coming home to his wife and family. And one thing we're not looking at, that she brought up this point on, is how are the family members reacting in this stressful situation. We're looking at our first responders, but I don't think we're taking into account how our families, the spouses, how are the kids reacting and not seeing daddy or mommy for 12 and 15 hours. That's something big that's going to have an effect on these kids. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. And we get to hear from her next week, right? She will be on the show with us.
Yes.
Talking exactly about that, because it is about our first responders making sure they are safe so they can care for our communities, but it's also about making sure that everything's okay at home, because if everything's not okay at home, it tends to spill over into the job. And yeah, so I'm excited to talk to her again. The insights that she shared were awesome, and the things that she's doing, and she's so young. I mean, to have the insight and forethought and what she's sharing out on social media, and I think everybody will be happy to hear from her. So we're talking about next week's show.
Next week's show. But you know, she's so determined to really make a difference in the first responders' lives and be that helping hand. And when we always discuss during a badge of honor, when we do our workshops, and we discuss different mental health issues of the first responders going to seek therapy, right? How they bounce from couch to couch to couch and not get the right treatment that they're supposed to be getting, or it's inadequate treatment. And what happens is the first responder ends up bailing out and giving up because there's only so many people they can talk to and not get help. They get frustrated. Mm-hmm. So it just adds to those triggers. It adds to that mental health strain, and they just can't be bothered. Rochelle brings a different dynamic, as her husband is a firefighter, and she sees firsthand the stress that he's going through. She knows how to speak to, even though she does marriage counseling and child therapy and all that other stuff, she's got the degree in that, but she brings to the table that wife-spouse aspect that most people are looking for in their relationship.
Absolutely, and we're gonna hear from one of our frontline responders here in Lewisville. She's in special ops. She'll be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. She'll be calling in to just we're open. Texas is open. And your choice whether or not you want to come out or continue to stay in. I still find it hilarious that folks are using other people's Facebook posts to start wars over their opinions with other people, not even on their own Facebook. They're using your whatever you post to go to war with your friends, and it's crazy. People, everybody, we got to be a little bit more respectful, and
right.
If you have something to say it on your own page. But it's pretty funny because the governor made a decision. You can agree with it or not, but for goodness sake, we can be civil to each other.
Right.
You know?
Which now just when we talk about mental health, and that's what me and you have been doing, this just adds another element of mental health. We discussed this on the 99. The divisiveness, in the cities and the communities and the governors, everybody making a different decisions, no one giving you the correct answers. People are getting so confused, so frustrated, so fed up, and they don't know what to do anymore. And I noticed that today with my wife. We went to see the Blue Angels fly over. So we decided to take a ride.
Lucky. I didn't get to see them all the way out where I am.
They didn't fly over by you?
No.
Oh,
no, they went north. I think Frisco got a glimpse.
But
not all the way out east.
Well, they flew over LD Bell High School, and we were, we live right around the block, so we went over the LD Bell, and we were sitting in the parking lot, and I could see how the stress is really starting to hit my wife because, a car, everybody, when we parked, we were trying to be courteous, and, we left a spot in between us and the next car. Kind of like a social distancing,
you're
right?
Being considerate.
Is, we were just being considerate. But as more people came into the parking lot, one guy parked right next to me, and she got frustrated. She's like, "Do you believe that he's parking right there?" And I see the frustration in her face, and she would never ever be like that. She would never ever get like that. And we were out of the car. We were on the field, but he just parked next to our car. So I see how the stress is hitting her. This pandemic is not only causing issues within our first responders, it's causing issues at home because my wife is being stressed out that a car is parked next to us. So and that's something she would never ever be upset about ever. She wouldn't care, But I could tell she's getting stressed. The being inside, the face mask, the different news channels giving her so much different information, confused as hell, don't know how to treat my father-in-law because she's worried about him, going out and getting sick, and because he's in that over 65 range. So there's so much pressure on her that one car parking next to her kind of really pissed her off, and rightfully so. It's an overload of information for certain people. Hold on one second. Welcome to Mad Radio on It's Making a Difference Wednesday. Who's on the line?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Mad Radio. You are live on the air.
Is this Officer Roberts?
Oh my gosh! Hey guys.
Hey. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't hear it because my phone was like sitting in front of me.
Oh.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Very good. You are on the air with John and Sam. Thank you for calling in. We were just touching on some mental health issues through this pandemic, how it affects our first responders, how it affects the family members of our first responders. We're discussing my wife on how the misinformation that is that the news is just overloading everybody with, how it's causing triggers in people that never had post-traumatic stress, and we can only imagine the effect this is going to have on a lot of people once this pandemic is over, when everybody's adrenaline stops running at full steam.
And everybody wants to be everybody wants to be a cop. Everybody has opinions, and that's why we love to talk to people like Officer Roberts, to have her on to really give us a firsthand account of what is going on. Now she is in. She said she broke it. Did she?
Yeah, she just hung up.
Oh, she said she broke the Skype.
She broke the Skype.
She broke the Skype.
Well, Officer Roberts, please call back in.
Yeah.
Well, you said. Well, I don't want to. She may have other things going on at the time too, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. I think she's pretty clear. Clear of the time, but yeah, she's up in Lewisville.
Okay.
And they, as far as I know, they're the first jurisdiction like close to us here that has gone back to 8s.
Oh, okay.
So they're off 12s now, back on 8s, and I'm really interested to to hear what if she can enlighten us on the some of the decisions and why She said she's trying, but it's asking a bunch of questions. The Skype has gotten the brain. It's Skynet.
Skype is asking a bunch of questions. I don't know what. Yeah, what Skype are you on? It shouldn't be asking a bunch of questions. I mean, just tell her to call in a regular phone line. She doesn't have to call in a Skype line. She can just call in a regular phone. She doesn't have to use Skype. Yeah, just call in a regular phone. You bring up a good point with cops going from 12-hour shifts now going, being banged down to eight-hour shifts. We look at shift change and shift work as a major stressor within our first responders. Now, when you've been
in general,
not
without all this COVID stuff.
So now we look at a first responder who has been banging out 12-hour shifts for the last 8 weeks or more, right? Mm-hmm. Overload of volume of calls, and now like kind of hitting the brakes a little bit and putting you on that 8-hour shift. That's like going from 80 miles an hour down to 65, to slow down.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Band Radio. You are listening to John and Sam. You're on the air.
Take two.
Take two.
Thank you. Hopefully I don't lose that again. I got two in.
All right, good. We were just talking about how you guys, I believe, are the first jurisdiction like in our area to go back down to 8. Or to go back to your regular
shift.
8 for shift work, and just
yeah,
and what that kind of felt like, because everybody, most places are still on the mandatory 12s. So was it a breath of fresh air for you?
Yeah, it's we have the majority of our patrol units are all on 12-hour shifts, and the traffic units are on 10-hour shifts. And then all the special ops, all the CID kind of have their own schedule. Most of us are on 8s. But what they did was, for this pandemic, they took the entire department and put everybody on patrol except for the investigators. So all special units were putting back on their uniforms and running back on the streets for those 12-hour shifts. And
so you're talking about
it was good and bad.
You're talking about even the special operation teams, like the SWAT teams, the emergency service teams. They all went back on patrol.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, our narcotics team, our gang unit, our street crimes, myself, the neighborhood resource officer, all of the school resource officers. Everybody was running the road.
Well,
so it was. We definitely caught a lot of people doing crimes because there were so many of us out and about.
Well, see, they and I'm just going to joke around, but that's why they can't put the investigators or like the detective units back out.
No.
Because none of them really fit in their uniforms anymore. They've been so used to sitting behind a desk.
They're not going to listen to the show anymore, John.
Hey, listen, I'm a detective. I knew after a year I would never, ever fit back into my my street clothes, my street uniform again. No, I'm just joking. But that's,
Yeah. It's true, though. It's a CID 15, right? IS, or whatever it is, ISB. I came from up north, so we called everything by different names. I came here to Texas, and now I got to get used to Texas lingo.
So let me ask you something. Because everybody looks at when we look at departments like New York and Philadelphia and Chicago and California, we look at the big departments. We sometimes fail to look at the inner city departments like Lewisville and Bedford and Hearst and the
smaller guys, but they're good sized cities, but
correct. And but
they're small.
The media usually focuses on the bigger ones, like with 40,000 officers, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that you guys handle every city handles the same thing. They're being affected by the same thing, and we can't lose sight of that. So how did when we hear that New York's call volume almost doubled and tripled, did you see the same spike in call volume in Lewisville in relation to what your normal daily patrol was?
And I'm glad you asked, because I look at the news. I watch Newsy because they seem to be the only unbiased news source, and a few other news outlets. And we haven't had that same issue. Our community is a fairly decent one with a lot of middle class working people, and most of them are home and they're all doing the right thing. The criminal element we have in our community usually comes from Dallas.
Right.
They come up from Dallas looking for these smaller cities to terrorize. And there's so many of us on the street and we're so visible all the time. I think it deterred the majority of crime. The crimes we were getting, we haven't received before, were there's people playing basketball, or my neighbors have friends over. Like, we've had an increase in those type of calls, but the actual robberies, burglaries, sex assaults, all of that was greatly reduced in our community.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing. That's a great
Yeah.
thing. But the nuisance, I don't want to, you know what, I don't even want to call them nuisance calls, but they are, because you got to be like, Jesus Christ, stop ratting out your neighbor, you know.
Well,
but,
it's like, hey, if I show
Yeah.
up, there'll be 11, and it violates the whole thing, so forget it.
but still, you know, going on those calls, all right, and as a cop, as a detective, as anybody in law enforcement knows, you know, you go on that call. Hey, there's people playing in the park. I see a family of 6 having a picnic in the park. Can you go patrol that? And you're like, you know, if an emergency comes over, a car accident comes over, a choking child, you know, a gunshot victim, a person hit by a car, you know, you're really taking me away from what I'm put here for. You know, that could be given to code enforcement. That could be given to somebody else. We're using our law enforcement to really handle nuisance complaints about social distancing. I do not agree with, because you guys are lifesavers, and by putting you on that type of social distancing function, I feel you putting the rest of the community at jeopardy, because you're so valued in other places.
Well, it's just a little ridiculous. Let them get sick.
Yeah, huh?
I said it's a little ridiculous. Let the people that are together get sick.
Well, you know, I just don't think.
What you brought up is something I brought up to my superiors. I said, you know, every time we go to one of these, my neighbor's walking too loud, I think they're having a party over there. It's putting me at risk.
It is.
To become contaminated when I'm the one who has to go to the fights, the burglaries, the CPR events. Yep. I have to engage and interact with people very closer than I want to sometimes. And they're putting me at risk with their frivolous, unnecessary complaints that don't directly affect them unless they're engaging with those other people.
So what was the policy? What was the department policy? Did you have to respond to that, or was it handled on the phone?
Yeah, we went to a code orange for us, and so what they did is they gave us, you know, recommendations on. We have a huge amount of discretion. We have a fantastic city and administration. You're not going to hear that from a lot of guys. Right. You will always hear it from me. I am very blessed to end up where I work. They didn't cut our discretion, but they reiterated our main goal right now during this pandemic is to keep our community safe, to reduce the number of contacts, to reduce the possibility of contaminating an officer or a shift or the people that we're trying to help. So some of those complaints we don't have to fend, like my neighbor keeps slamming his door when he goes in and out of the house. We're not going to go make contact with that neighbor.
Right.
If we can find a phone number, we'll give him a call, but it's not worth putting us at risk becoming in that proximity to an unknown, you know, possible COVID positive person because someone's annoyed because they've been sitting home for 45 days and they're sick of their neighbors.
You know, and then you think about, all right, so you guys had discretion on that call on those calls, which is great. But let's flip the script on that. Those calls are still coming in, and the overload on our 911 telecommunication operators, they must have been hit with I'm sure they were probably like, oh, just let me hang up already, you know, because they probably got inundated with so many different calls.
And ours don't have discretion. Our 911 operators are not allowed to disregard a call. They have to put every call through to an officer. I'm hoping after this, maybe that's something they can reevaluate, because there are things that are truly not emergency or police or fire related that don't need to be going through that channel.
Right.
It's true.
There's other outlets. We have, you know, a great city website. You can file different complaints through the city website. You know, if your neighbor has too much trash or somebody has chickens or whatever your problem is of the day, that's not really a law enforcement issue.
I thought we're in Texas.
There's an avenue to deal with that.
But see, I blame that. I blame that on the upper governing bodies, because they put into the people's heads, they put into the public's heads, if you see people not social distancing, please notify your local police department. You know, they put that word out. They put that word out there. It puts it in their minds. So now people go, oh, I see 3 people walking together. I'm going to call 911. They're holding hands. Oh my God, I'm going to call 911. That's not really a true emergency call. It's not that's not a 911 life-threatening call. You shouldn't be calling that number for social distancing. And like you said, it should be deflected someplace else. But 911 operators aren't allowed to do that because they're not on the scene. They have to take the calls because if something does happen, they're going to be in a hot seat and saying, well, why didn't you send somebody? So.
Well, what's really good, I don't know what all the other, non-Dallas size departments, the smaller ones, I don't know what they're doing, but we have a city call center as well. So we have pushed that out to our citizens. If they have questions or concerns, we have active members that work for the city that are not law enforcement that are there to answer all those questions. What do I do when I see people, playing basketball? And so we're blessed to have that. So a lot of those have been fended off through that city call center. Instead of no one knowing what to do, so they call 911, we have another avenue that they have been utilizing, and it gave people that jobs were kind of put on hold something to do so they could get a paycheck.
Well,
so we're very blessed where we're at. They treat us real good, and the city and the community's done everything to keep us all up and running. And most people aren't bothering us.
That's awesome. So if you guys are just tuning in, we are talking to Officer Rachel Roberts from Lewisville PD, and it sounds like the city of Lewisville has got their poop in order. Yeah, very proactive with their citizens as well as their officers. I would imagine same for fire. So now that we've reopened, how are you protecting yourself at home? What do you do? After you get off shift, is there a protocol that was put in place, or are you like I said, breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief?
Oh, well, for me, I am even more concerned now than I was in Europe when this whole fiasco started here in the U.S.
Oh, wonderful.
So I was actually, I was in Bratislava and Hungary, Budapest, when the president was on air saying, everyone needs to last flight to the U.S. on March 13th. I was overseas. So
scrambling to the airport,
luckily,
right?
Well, luckily my flight was on the right day, but everyone else was trying to steal my seat. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting home. But I am definitely, I probably have a higher anxiety level about this virus. Just a little bit of a backstory. In 2013, I watched my 31-year-old sister go into the hospital and 4 hours was dead.
Oh.
She had a colonized staph infection in her lungs, which does a similar thing. It's not a pneumonia symptom. It's a staph infection, so the bacteria just keeps growing and developing in there, and it stops your body's ability to breathe, which is what this COVID does. So after seeing a young person, that I care about die in front of me, my anxiety levels are already kind of high about this. I don't do anything. I have become the biggest homebody, and it's awful because I'm a super extrovert. I get out of work. I leave all my clothes there unless they go and get immediately washed. I don't wear my boots home or anything like that. I shower down as quick as possible, and then I just stay home until I go back to work again.
Wow.
See, that right there, man, that's an extra added stress on our first responders. Because, it's like it's just something that's always in the back of your mind. And as a law enforcement officer, you have to be sharp. You have to be ready for anything. The rapists, the murderers, and the people who want to hurt the police,
they don't care.
They are still out there. So every call is still the same. There's still that element of danger. And when you're thinking about, oh, my God, is he going to spit on me? Or am I going to get COVID? That's just one other thing that blocks that sharpness that may stop that 1/100th of a second that can be the difference between life and death.
Well, it reminds me of when the AIDS first came out, because we did not know, we didn't know how the AIDS virus actually worked. So if you had to tackle somebody, or you got in a fight and you got blood on you, it's like, oh God, am I going to be okay? And luckily, the scientists and it took a bunch of years to realize, hey, unless you have, an open wound or, you got it in your eyes or something, you're going to be okay.
Well, I tell you, back in I was a EMT with New York City EMS before I became a cop, and I worked the back of the bus in East New York, Brooklyn, the highest crime rate, highest homicide rate, and I was a tech back then, and that was back in 86, 87. Height of the
Dad. No.
height of the AIDS epidemic, and I remember we were doing CPR on people. I mean, that's when we gave breaths, and bloody, traumatic, no face mask, no face mask, blood all over the place. Knock on wood, thank God, nothing ever happened.
Oh my gosh.
But now that we know more and more throughout what we've learned through technologies, 40 years later, 30 years later, I can't imagine the information that you have to process in your head to go out on a job today. With us.
You should see my go bag, like in my car right next to me. I've got my ticket book and all that junk.
Yeah.
I have a very high quality CPR mask.
Yeah, I bet.
Would you ever think that you would be needing to carry that? And that's with it. That's closer to my hand than my AR-15 is.
Oh, you got an AR-15. Look at you.
Well, all the departments have that now.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
No, we didn't have that. I had a Smith & Wesson 6-shooter.
We had an MP5 submachine gun, so I will say that. So nice.
No.
Yeah, we've got shotguns, ARs. I've got plated vests. We have shields. I mean, we have so much equipment, and we're so prepared. But like you said, it's all going through my mind. Luckily, I'm high speed.
Right.
But all those different things are going through my mind. And now, like you said, that added stress is every call I go to, I'm not just thinking, who might jump out at me and which way can I get out and who's my closest backup. I'm thinking, I got to really stand way further away from this person that keeps leaning because they're hard of hearing. And I'm worried about them breathing on me.
Well, now, did they issue you guys N95 and other protective gear?
Okay, I don't want to keep gloating. I feel like, I'm the poster girl for Lewisville, but they gave us everything. We've got glasses. We've got face shields.
Good.
We've got N95. Bent Distillery in downtown Lewisville supplied us with all the hand sanitizer that we need. So did Mary Kay. They made us special bottles to carry with us. I actually have a little bottle holster on my duty belt with my little...
That's
hand
awesome.
sanitizer. They gave us everything we need, and they also gave us additional cloth masks. So
it's a
we are well prepared, but that's us. That's not all the departments. We're just very, very. We have a great community.
It's
and
a blessing
a great
to hear that.
admin, great city.
It's a blessing to hear that Lewisville is taking. We were on. We did a Zoom call with the Tarrant County Sheriff, Bill Wayburn, and he's proactive. It's great to hear success. I don't want to say success. Maybe success is the wrong word. But proactive stories like you, that Lewisville is taking care of our first responders, because I'm sure they're doing the same with the fire department and the nurses and the doctors as well, and they're taking care of it. But like you said, some officers aren't that lucky in a lot of the surrounding cities.
Yeah, it comes down to communication, right?
It comes down to money.
Really? Well, no, because all this was but all the PPE was given. So the governors would report to the COVID task force. But if you think about the trickle down, obviously the folks in Lewisville, they were organized. They asked. They went to the police department. They went to the hospitals. They went to fire department, and they said, how many officers? Everybody. They looked at how many people are on the street.
Right.
So they communicated well with each other, and that's why
and the community
it's squared away. I mean, same thing in I'll speak for Rowlett and in Rockwall.
Right.
We're the smallest county in Texas, and we got everything we need, and I'm checking in with folks. Hey, do you need it? Even the hospital near our house, like, nope, we don't need PPE. We'd love thank you notes.
Right. Well, look at the proactiveness in Lewisville. I mean, because she said that Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Kay donated some sanitizer and stuff. Maybe somebody from Lewisville department says, "Hey, Mary Kay, maybe they can donate some sanitizers." Maybe another department didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Well, I
surround.
wish we were that proactive, but we're not. They came to us.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
we
good.
had
That's good.
days
That's
and-
good.
Yeah,
People,
they're stable
That's awesome.
here
people
in
were,
the,
yeah,
you
they
know.
were coming to us with cases of N95 masks and just regular citizens, people that own businesses. But a huge thing that we do that we're real good at, like that's my job. I'm neighborhood resource officer. I am huge on crime prevention and community policing. When you engage with that community, they have a different outlook on that law enforcement,
Yes.
Yeah.
industry and
100%.
what we do.
Yes.
And we treat our community good. They treat us good. I can't believe the outpouring of things from the community when all I want to do is keep dropping off boxes of cereal because I know these kids are hungry at home because everyone's at home and no parent has that many snacks in the house.
Oh, yeah, I know what you
with all-
mean. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I'm so lucky, and I'd love to say like our upper echelon went out there and searched for this stuff, but they actually didn't. They
Well-
came to us, but it's because of our relationship with that community.
Let me ask you the big question. Let me ask you the big
Yeah.
question because this is something that me and Sam are really big into, and certain departments are doing it. I'm glad Lewisville is providing with all the PPE you need. They're doing everything they can to keep you safe out on the streets. Has anybody worried about your mental health right now?
I am so glad you asked that. Because we work for a city, so we're
Right.
we're all together. It's not just PD or fire; it's all of us.
Right.
They have rolled out 2 different outlets for personal and private. We can do Zoom or Skype meetings with free counselors for anybody in the city, and there's also phone calls we can do. We have a whole unit, a whole agency that's willing to take us on to discuss some of the issues we're having
Excellent.
to deal with the mental health part of it.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
awesome.
Excellent.
Like, again,
man.
way proactive city like Lewisville. Some people don't have great things to say about it, but it really is a wonderful community, and that was right on the top of the list. First was how do we get people paychecks? How do we keep people safe? They've rolled out. We have 26 weeks paid leave
Wow.
from the city for anybody that has an issue with the COVID. If they test positive, if a family member tests positive, that's 26 paid weeks.
Wow. Have you
Wow.
had
Straight
any?
out of the city.
Have you had any officers from your command test positive?
Yes, and I was waiting for you to ask that. And it's public knowledge. He was willing to share that info. One of our officers, while I was over in Europe, he went up to Colorado, came back, and his wife and him both fell ill. And he went to work. He went to go to work, and then he decided not to, and he went to the doctor instead. Him and his wife tested positive. And we followed the protocol for him coming back by the CDC guidelines. He felt better. Everything was good. But when they retested him, and he was still positive. So he was out for a long time, since March 16th till he came back yesterday.
Wow.
Wow. Well, God
so
bless.
he's
God
been
bless
better
he came
for
back.
weeks,
Thank God.
but
Thank God.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
And he's the only one, and he had no contact with anyone else at the police department. It's everyone at that wedding it appears everyone that was at the wedding became positive with COVID.
So this was
But,
a
he's the only
Colorado thing.
Yeah.
This happened. So this started in Colorado back in March. Wow.
Yeah, March 16th, he was at March 13th, 14th, 15th, he was at a wedding, came back and started feeling ill. But, we do a very, every day, anyone that's going into any city building, we all have to get our temperature checked. If someone checks too high, we immediately get sent to the clinic and sent home. The test results, I'm not sure if you two are aware, are if you get them at the ER or at the hospital, they're within 7 hours you get your results back. But most of the testing facilities, you don't get them back 48 to 72 hours now.
Which is, to me, is a little too long, man. I wish they had almost immediate
Well,
results.
If you're not feeling well, stay home.
Right.
I mean, just in general, So they're hoping that
so
people use their
and
brains a little bit.
And we get stuck staying home, and then if it tests negative, as long as you don't have a fever and you feel okay, you can come back to work. So our city's putting great parameters to keep other employees safe in our community. And then if you did test positive, like my buddy, he had to have 2 negative tests, one test, and then 24 hours later, another test, and they both have to be negative to come back.
Wow. Wow.
And that's all paid for by the city.
Well,
so,
if you are
again,
if you're just
lucky.
tuning in, we are talking to Officer Rachel Roberts, Lewisville PD. If you are listening from Lewisville and you need to reach out, they have a non-emergency city call center, and you can also call the non-emergency number. So please, 911 is for emergencies.
Right.
So if you have any other questions or concerns, go ahead and use the alternate call-in numbers, and those numbers are available on the City of Lewisville website. So, wow. Thank you so much.
Well,
John, do you have...
Yeah, I got another couple of questions because I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, okay, and they're hiring.
Excellent.
What's the age cutoff?
Yeah.
We don't have an age cutoff.
Oh,
We
excellent.
don't play
I'm
that
in.
game.
I'm
There
in.
you go.
All right.
Me and John will come on up after the show.
As long as me and Sam can be partner up in a car, we're good, man.
Oh my God, you got to meet the other guys from New York that work with me. They all retired from New York and came down here. So.
Oh man, I retired. I got stabbed on a job, so I retired on a medical disability.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They take stabbing victims, though. They'll still take them, right?
They take handicap cops.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch. I didn't say that.
All right. let me ask you a question on the directives you're getting. Because there's a lot of different speculation on, with the opening and closing. Some counties are opening, some cities are opening, different mayors are saying different things. Are you, as law enforcement, are you getting confused on all the directives, or like with code enforcement into restaurants and bars? Are you expected to go in there and go, oh, your occupancy level is 400, you have this many people in here, let me divide that by 6,
right.
and let me
Take
check
the
that.
calculator.
Is that also being weighed on your shoulders?
Well, me, because I'm an NRO, that's kind of what they told me when I came back to my 8-hour day shift, because I was on night shift 12 hours. They told me that I might be working directly with, it's not just code enforcement, it's the fire inspectors and the fire marshals. So our cities utilized our fire inspectors and marshals to go out, get the numbers of all the different businesses open, find out what 25% of that is, and they provided us with a spreadsheet. Every business, every number, that of people that are maximum occupancy for this right now, and we're not really going out and enforcing that because we have other things to do.
Right.
But if they see it or they have an issue with it, we'll go with them and we'll do our best to. Again, we want our businesses to succeed in town. We don't want to shut them down or push their businesses out. But we need to follow these guidelines as best we can to keep everyone safe. So we haven't had an issue this week yet. The nail salons and barbershops open Friday. Again, a lot of work from our fire department. They're the guys that are actually doing all that footwork for us. We're just there to be the strong arm of the law if people aren't following it or they need help enforcing it.
But once again, you have your discretion. The city of Lewisville gives you the discretion. And when you say you don't want to be that hard ass, but you have that discretion. So if you walk into a restaurant and they are,
if it's packed at the bar or something like that,
they are 28%. You can use your best discretion. But what I've seen and I seen this the other day, where even at bars, you're going to open up the bars at 25%, right? And people are going to be sitting at the bar. They're not going to be sitting a stool or two away from each other. They will in the very beginning. After their first beer, they're going to start getting closer.
Yeah.
They're going to start getting closer.
Even if you take the stools away, people will move closer.
Yes, it's just common human nature to start congregating, and it's going to happen. What are your thoughts about that? And I believe that we're all grown adults. Take your own precautions. And do what you can. I think we're putting too much more on our fire department as well. Fire department's got to get off the truck.
Yeah.
They got to go. They got to get off the truck. They got to get out there. They got to start counting heads. And then, God forbid, a call comes in. Now they got to run back to the truck and got gear back up. That right there is just. I think it's a lot we're asking of our first responders, man.
And I'm glad you pointed that out, and luckily our community sees that. Our fire, police and fire, how we all are.
Yes.
We actually have a fantastic relationship with our guys. I used to laugh, when I worked up north, because they just slept all day. They didn't even do the EMS part. They just did the fire part. Coming here, our guys work. They don't get to sleep. There's no rest for the Lewisville Fire Department. There's about 160, 170 of them. We have 8 fire stations, and they're just go, go, go. And anything I can do to reduce their workload, I try to, because they're always there when we need them. They're super quick at getting there when there's an emergency. We work together as a team. The guys on the trucks aren't the ones as much going into the businesses counting. It's more the fire inspectors and the fire marshal. But, yeah, we're putting a lot of extra work on all of us when we're all super stressed out about this. I don't have kids at home, but a bunch of my coworkers, they're scared to death to go home.
Yeah.
They don't want their children and their wives getting this sickness. And
I couldn't imagine working at this point in time and going home to your family with your kids and stuff.
Room.
It's your home is a place to relax. This is an invisible killer. It's an invisible threat. Do you know that you washed all the germs off? Do you know it's scary? It's a scary, scary thing. Yeah. And you sit for 2 weeks and wonder.
And all of us are cognizant of it. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there and stuff, but the reality is this is seriously killing people.
Right.
And I know the flu kills people, but it's in a totally different manner of how it attacks your body. And there's different things it can do to help the flu when you get it. This is a totally different animal. Even those people that want to ignore the fact, there's a reason why the world shut down.
Right.
This is a big deal.
Now it seems to me not only being proactive in giving you guys PPE and discretion and everything else, and the mental health aspect. You sound like they also gave you some training in what COVID is all about.
Yeah, we've got rolled out our chief is super good at disseminating information that's pertinent to what's going on. He's not going to hide it all for himself. So they've rolled out, the issues they're seeing, the potential, how close they want us to get, all the different everything. They have given us so much information. And it might have been a little over the top because keeping track of what businesses can open, what time they're supposed to close, and all that was very difficult. But the virus itself, the effects of the virus, and obviously the signs and symptoms of it, because it's so contagious, we have to get as much information as we can.
That's good.
And if it's wrong, then we'll find out what the right stuff is, and they would share that with us as well.
But when they say knowledge is power, that to make sure, because you can't protect yourself if you don't know what you're up against. So for those chiefs to do that and keep you guys totally informed, man, kudos to the whole Lewisville Police Department and Fire Department for doing everything they're doing for their members. Because
thank you.
You guys are real lucky, because me and Sam have talked to some that aren't as lucky as you. That are still on the front line.
Send them our way.
Send
them our way.
Man, they would love to, but New York today announced that they may be laying off and furloughing some of their first responders because they ran out of money. And how do you do that to a
God.
How do you do that to the EMS personnel and the firefighters and the police officers that have been and the nurses that have been on the front line of this in New York? And now, hey, thank you. Sorry you don't have a job anymore.
Yeah, they say, you know what they say? It's like, oh, well, we have the volunteers.
Right.
Well, it's a little, we have the volunteer department. They'll pick up the slack. Yeah, as if they're not already overloaded.
They're already taxed out,
right.
So, once again.
I don't know about the volunteers are great, but I look at it like this. If I'm going to have a surgery, I want the surgeon that does surgery every day. I don't want the guy that does it once every couple months.
There you go.
Hey, on a more an emotional note and a Texas note, today's flyover from the Blue Angels, did it hit you anywhere special? Thank you.
So bummed out I didn't get to see this.
That thank you to you and all our first responders, man. The Blue Angels really did a magnificent job.
Yeah. I was stuck behind a very large building dealing with a homeless guy during the time that they came up in our area. But I had the radio on because they played music for us on 90. I think it's 95.5.
Yes.
I was so elated that all these people, putting it. There's a lot of frontline workers here. I know who I am. I know what I do. But I'm telling you, these service industry people, the baggers at the grocery store, the
Yes.
Walmart employees,
Right.
Yes.
everyone's really putting forth their best, and they're working hard. And I appreciate any job. I'm not picky about. I never level myself up from others, but to see people come out and just do things like that, I was shocked. I mean, I love Texas.
Give you a
People
nice.
do great things down here.
It gives you a nice boost of morale, because at these times, there's a lot of officers, a lot of first responders that can be feeling down in the dumps, and when you do something like this, it really gives them that second jolt of energy.
Yeah.
It gives them like, hey,
People
We're
care.
people care. We're
people
doing,
care.
we're fighting a good fight. We're doing this for a reason. We can keep trucking on, and and it may give you that next couple of months of energy and boost and morale uplift to get you going and keep you going.
Someone donated a ton of Thai food yesterday, and I'm like, who's bringing us Thai food? It was the ER that we've been using for our COVID testing. They gave us treats and snacks and food, and
Wow.
I'm like, wait, I need to be giving you guys stuff. You're dealing with these people real close.
and Thai food, no less.
I
Man,
know, it
I
got
love
fancy.
Thai. God, I love
No,
Thai food.
I'll tell you what. We've been covering this for since it started.
Yes.
And it is so refreshing. I hope that everybody that's listening, realizes that Texas, here in Texas, we're cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
Not only the people, the first responders, our city leaders, and while you might not always agree with policies, with procedures, with everything they do, I hope that through this crap that this pandemic, that people realize they really do have our best interests in mind. And it might be a little inconvenient, but everybody could just be patient, take a breath. Like we started the show, everybody's not going to agree with opening of Texas and, oh my God, look at how many more cases and blah, blah. It's the natural progression of the disease. It's going to take its natural course. So you just have to let that happen. Just be calm about it. You don't need to, get all riled up and get in people's faces and have the police have to come out for no reason. And
think about it. We're not going to eradicate it.
We're all in this together,
right.
and God bless you and for being on the front lines. And God bless the great city of Lewisville for doing what they're doing.
My
sister
sister lives in Lewisville. She loves it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
She loves it.
Tell her to join our volunteer program. We have a great one. Not like fake cop ones, but like people that come and help out the PD and hang out. And
you're really on the
citizens on patrol.
You're really on the upsell on this Lewisville. Do you get a commission for any of this?
I know. Do you have a real estate agent?
Yeah. No. So I came from New Hampshire.
All right.
So I legitimately tripled my pay rate coming to Lewisville. Not only did I triple my pay rate, I don't do any details or jobs or off duty. I go to work, I do my 40, I'm done.
That's good. That's good.
I am amazed because I came from a unionized police department up north, right? And then coming here, being an at-will employee, it's scary. Oh my God, they could fire me any day for any reason. I don't even have like a special retirement. It's the same as all the other people in the city. I can't believe how much value they placed on us here.
Yeah, that's nice.
It is amazing. I mean, I am the biggest cheerleader for Lewisville because I've worked other places, and this is I wish I started my career here. One, I'd be super rich by now. But,
well,
but
listen.
The things that are important, they see. The community engagement, using the least amount of enforcement necessary to get, the education through, the idea, the warning, whatever it is. They're on the ball. They're so much more advanced than other PDs that are still just chasing after the bad guys. Prevent the bad guys.
Right.
Stop people from becoming the bad guy if you can. But we're still going to have problems, just not nearly at the same level as some of the other cities that don't have the time to do what we do.
Hey, before we close out, because you're a great cheerleader, I want you to. Because I want you to give a mental health boost to all our first responders out there, because I think you are just the person to do that. and I think you can give us that big cheer, give us that big upsell, and give a shout out to our first responders out there before we close out.
How loud do you want me to shout?
I want you to shout as loud as you want. I'll adjust the mic. But what can you say to all the first responders to keep their morale up? And you're very upbeat. You got a great attitude. What could you say to some of those guys that maybe be a little down in the dumps and need a little uplifting?
Oh, guys, it's gonna end. We are going back to the way we were, just a little cleaner, I think, than before. This is going to be the worst time that we've had until the next disease comes. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's changing. It's changing the mentality. Right now, I have seen the best of the best. The best people are being better, and the worst are being worse. But it is bringing communities together. It is bringing the things out of people they didn't know they had. This is a pinnacle time for our families. The time we get to spend with them, seeing how our departments, our cities treat us. If you're in one of those departments that don't care if you're out there getting contaminated, that don't check your temperature, that don't send you to get tested, that tell you still better come in when you're sick, maybe now's the time to reevaluate where you're working. And I hate to take anyone from another department, but
Lewisville is hiring.
Yeah, Lewisville's hiring. ProtectLewisville.com. But it's going to be great, and I wish I had the Skype on so everyone could see my party backyard with the bar and the pool and the hot tub, because we have huge parties, and lots and lots and lots of people in Denton, Collin, and Tarrant County know me, and they know we throw a good bash. We will be having those bashes. The parties are coming back.
We're coming
to
your party.
The get-togethers are coming back.
Yes, we are.
Hopefully the Rangers will be playing again, because I bought a lot of tickets.
Hey, well, we'd love to, after this COVID thing is all over and everything starts getting back to a little bit of normalcy, we would love to have you to do a follow-up and come into the studio.
We'll go up to party in Lewisville.
Yeah, or we'll come to party in your backyard. All right.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you can come here. Like I mean it's happening. All
right.
My neighbors are jealous.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
You guys are great. It's gonna be over. It's just the world's gonna be a little bit different after this. Just like it was after 9/11. A lot of things changed.
But we'll get through it.
The way people looked at things changed.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
And this has affected not just the U.S., not just one part of the U.S. It's affected the world. This is a big deal.
Yep.
So let's make the best of it, even though me, the eccentric, super engaged, love to be around everybody in the world, is stuck at home by myself.
It'll get better.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
You'll escape. All right, Officer Roberts, again from Lewisville PD, we so appreciate your time and sharing your COVID experience and everything with us.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, it's always wonderful to hear that. It's great to see Lewisville doing that and being proactive. That's really what means a lot to us. Man, this show once again went so quick there, Sam.
I know.
And we're gonna end this show with a tribute song to our opening song, actually, to all the first responders out there as the Blue Angels flew over today. Sam, anything to close out?
Just thank you, Officer Roberts, again. All the first responders out there, keep your heads up. We'll get through it.
Yes, we will. And until next week, man, keep that mental health straight. If you need us, I am here. We are here to listen. Reach out to the Mad Radio Show, the First Responders #1 network. Until next Wednesday, stay blessed.
It's a long 12 hours. The power's out again. I pray for inner strength and that we don't lose no lives. Just another day in the first responders' eyes. Half a cup of coffee's gone. The first run comes in.